More than 3 years after Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain and Egypt imposed a blockade on Qatar, finally a breakthrough.
An agreement was reached to open the land and maritime borders between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the state of Qatar starting tonight.
The statement from the Kuwaitis on the eve of a GCC summit in Saudi Arabia was not a surprise. Since the crisis began, they've been mediating between the deeply divided members of the Gulf Cooperation Council. The United States has also been urging Gulf countries to resolve the dispute in order to maintain the stability and security of the region. For decades, rivalry and differences in foreign policy have divided Gulf states. But when that worsened in 2017, few expected the region would be thrown into crisis and a land, air and sea blockade imposed on Qatar. Saudi Arabia had shut Qatar's only land border, cutting imports and its food and medicine supply chain. Bahrain, the UAE, Saudi Arabia and Egypt closed their airspace to Qatari aircrafts, grounding hundreds of Qatar Airways planes. The blockading countries also shut their embassies in Doha and expelled Qatari diplomats. They issued a list of 13 demands they said Doha must meet, including shutting down the Al Jazeera news channel.
The positive aspect of it, at least as far as Qatar is concerned, has been a greater degree of resilience. Over the last few years, the Qataris have managed to learn to live with the blockade, and that has helped them discover better ways of living and more efficient ways of sustaining their economy, their expenditure, managing their affairs, and resulted in an extremely resilient country that has now demonstrated itself in the lifting of the blockade without them having to address the totally irrational 13 conditions.
The impact the crisis has had on the Gulf Cooperation Council is unquestionable. And whilst differences remain, the hope is that moving forward, they will be resolved through dialogue. Jamal, Elshayyal, Al Jazeera, Doha.